Bort? Oh, come on, Bort?
Mommy, buy me a license plate!
No, come along, Bort.
Hello, and welcome to the Bort Experience, episode 11, the Crepes of Wrath. First, I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in to the channel and the podcast, the Bort Experience. We are up to, my last episode got up to 155 views as of this recording. The most ever of any of the episodes so far on the podcast. And I just want to say thank you so much, and I really appreciate it. So without further ado, I'm going to jump into the episode. So the Crepes of Wrath was originally aired on Fox in the United States on April 15th, 1990. It was written by George Meyer, Sam Simon, John Swartzwelder, and John Vitti, and directed by Wes Archer and Milton Gray. I thought this one was interesting because I think this is like one of the first episodes so far that I've seen that it was written by more than just two people. So I thought that was kind of an interesting thing where it had so many different writers, and you kind of can feel it with the jokes and the story overall. So the chalkboard gag, Bart is writing on the board, "Garlic gum is not funny," which I found was a really clever joke. I love garlic. I've gotten into cooking the last couple of years and used garlic in a lot of my dishes. And there's even a book series where, one of the characters, his name's Durzo Blent. He chews, by Brent Weeks, the Night Angel series. He chews on garlic, and it kind of just, I don't know why, but it just made me think of that garlic gum. Maybe Durzo could copyright that. It was pretty funny. The couch gag, the family hurries onto the couch and Homer pops off and shouts "dough." This has already been used. I can't remember though if he had the sound last time of him actually saying his catchphrase, which, the authors did not want to create a show with catchphrases, even though that's what eventually does end up happening. So the episode summary, Principal Skinner finally becomes fed up with Bart's pranks and proposes that Bart be sent to France as part of a student exchange program. The family agrees, and Bart is sent to the beautiful Chateau Mason, which is actually a dilapidated farmhouse on a neglected vineyard. Bart is treated like a slave by two unscrupulous winemakers who eventually feed him wine tainted with antifreeze. Meanwhile, an Albanian boy named, I think it's pronounced Aldi, starts to live with the Simpsons, unbeknownst to Homer. He's a spy sent by his country to obtain nuclear blueprints from the nuclear power plant and secretly faxing them back home. Back in France, Bart learns French and reports the winemaker's crimes to the police and gets sent back home, and then the FBI find the spy. So overall, I've liked this episode a lot more than I did the previous one. I could just tell I really like the plot element of like, hey, Bart's done something bad at the beginning with the cherry bomb and Principal Skinner's mother. And he gets sent to France. And this isn't the first time that the Simpsons travel. And I think that's a really great element to like, hey, let's take it out of Springfield and go to another country. There's different jokes. And it's kind of like when a show that you love is always like set like in a certain location, and then they go to a new state or a different location. It kind of, changes things up. And I feel like Bart going to France was just a great element and great comedy, and then great ways to add different elements to the show. So overall, I really enjoyed that aspect of it. I also really like how Homer is almost like, oh, this is what my family I want it to be, and like he's very happy and sad when the Albanian boy has to go back and gets caught and everything. And it's just kind of funny what he values in a family. But in the end, they still, love Bart and are glad that he's, back home. I also kind of find, the aspects of espionage part of the story very interesting. Them using faxes and satellites, and it's very like 90s, which, like, someone that grew up like in a different time period, probably go back and watch this episode and be like, what are they talking about? Because I know you've seen those videos of like, for example, I saw some of like an NFL players, younger players, being like, hey, what is this? And it's like a CD player or cassette tape or VHS. And it's just kind of funny where there's probably things I don't know about technology from previous generations, but I feel like millennials are kind of in an interesting time period where I grew up before the internet, and then internet was kind of like a big thing, like at the tail end of my high school years, beginning of college, and then that's when like smartphones really got, and the internet became more ubiquitous with people. So it's just interesting to see that it's a very time capsule episode to me. And I thought the writing and the jokes were really funny. I like the plot. And this is another one where there's kind of like two concurrent stories going on. So we have Bart in France, and then the rest of the family and their exchange student. I apologize. I don't know. I just literally watched the episode, but I can't remember how to say his name. I'm just gonna say Aldi. I don't think that's how you say it, so I apologize. But it's just kind of driving me crazy. But overall, like, I really enjoyed the episode, and I thought it was a real big step up from last week's, in my opinion. And we're getting close to the season finale, for the first season, and I've just been so happy getting to kind of rewatch these episodes and experience them. But let's go ahead and move on to the Citizens of Springfield. We had Dan Castanella as Homer Simpson. And then we had Julie Carvener as Marge Simpson. We had Nancy Cartwright as Bart. Let's see. And Maggie Roswell as a French woman. I think this list I have left off a few people. Let's see. Harry Shearer as Principal Skinner. French farmer. French boy, and then Russian delegate and guard. I apologize. I think it might have left off a few people, but those are some of the actors and roles they played in this episode. MVP, I thought Bart was really great in this episode. It's kind of like he's the one who spurs the whole, concept of it in terms of like he does this prank. Well, first he hurts his dad because he leaves out his toys. Homer hurts his back and it's like laying on the floor for hours waiting for someone to help him. Then he does the cherry bomb, and that affects Principal Skinner's mom, and then they kind of come to this plan to send him away for 3 months so they don't have to deal with him. So I thought Bart was like kind of like a key fulcrum in the whole plot of the episode, but I thought the writers also deserve a really big shout out. It was just a really fun and unique concept. Where it's like, oh, let's send Bart away, and then have this spy thing mixed up into it. So I just want to give the MVP to Bart and the writers of this episode. The best joke. So I have two that I thought were really well done. Best joke. You might find his accent peculiar. This is Principal Skinner, by the way. Certain aspects of his culture may seem absurd, perhaps even offensive, but I urge you all to give little Aldi the benefit of the doubt. This way and only this way can we hope to better understand our backward neighbors throughout the world. And then the kind of kids clap. I just thought it was a really great. It's like that things that I think other countries do, and I'm sure, but a lot of Americans do, where they just assume everything that we do is the 100% best way to do things, and just how it's presented, where it's like, hey, we need to learn about these backwards people, and it's like you're already assuming other places are not as great as your own. I just think that was a really great joke, and how the delivery, and he just said it so seriously at a school assembly, was done. The next joke kind of happens, kind of shortly after that, when the Simpsons family's with LD around the kitchen table, and they're kind of discussing things. So LD, how do you defend a country where 5% of the people control 95% of the wealth? Lisa, I'm defending a country where people can think and act and worship any way they want. Cannot, can to, cannot, can to. Homer, please, Homer says this, please, kids, stop fighting. Maybe Lisa's right. America being the land of opportunity, and maybe Aldi's right. Or maybe Aldi's got a point about the machinery of capitalism being oiled with the blood of the workers. So I just thought this was so great. It almost made me think of like, oh, am I listening to like Bernie Sanders right now talk about, you know, the wealth class and the the top 1%. It just was really funny. And then it's also interesting how Lisa, you know, who I think becomes more, I guess, left leaning throughout the show, but is more like, hey, you know, the United States does offer these things. And I think this is a great way the writers are saying, like, hey, America has some really great qualities, but then there's also some things there's like income disparity, and where you read now where it's like, oh, CEOs of companies make like 500% more than the lowest paid worker. So I think just with our current, you know, climate and how workers are treated, is it's very well. That's why it really spoke to me, this joke. And then it just, I don't know, it really got to me where, you know, these writers, I think that's what really this show, the writers really make this show. And you can see this so clearly in this episode where the jokes were really smart and funny, not just kind of throwaway lines, but things that kind of stick with you and make you think. And maybe not everyone views the show that way, but for me, it was a really great, you know, these jokes. And then there were so many more in the episode that really encapsulated like my thoughts and like what people are feeling in today's society. And if you can't tell, those are the episodes for me that's when they make me think about my own world and society and culture, are the ones that I think really rise up to the top. And this is one of the ones that I've really enjoyed this season. So those are my kind of two best jokes of the episode. Next, let us move on to trivia, one of my favorite segments we have on the show. Who has the largest collection of Malibu Stacy dolls? Give you some time. Who has the largest collection of Malibu Stacy's dolls? Answer: Smithers. This is a great episode. I remember it. I can't remember exactly what season it is, but I do remember it pretty well. Where Lisa, you know, I kind of mentioned this before. She's like, you know, very pro, like feminist type of personality, and she finally gets this Malibu Stacy doll that can talk with a pull string, kind of like Woody from Toy Story, and all she says is like, oh, don't listen to me, I'm a woman, or I need to be in the kitchen, or it's very like, oh, women shouldn't speak. And she kind of goes about this crusade of like finding the creator of the doll and like, why did you do this? And it's a kind of a great commentary, not only on people that collect toys, but then how you view certain characters or people in society. So when I found that trivia question for my game, I just was like, oh, I gotta use this as my trivia question for the episode. But overall, really great episode. I really enjoyed it. I'm having so much fun. Like I said, last episode we had over 150 views. I'm so happy with the engagement and the response and the comments I've been getting, and then also on social media. Check my description below to see some of my links there. And then I just want to say, you know, thanks for tuning in with me. I still don't have a new shirt, but we're bringing back this one. It's a great one. Hopefully we'll have some more in the future. But until next time.